morning. You are looking live at the Sports Page show. I'm here today. I have a great guest coming on today. I'm excited to bring him on today. One of DMV's own, Largo, Maryland's own as well. I got Coach Darrius G. Smith, coach extraordinaire. I'm bring him in. This man has actually been announced the coach of Fort Lewis College Athletics football team, the Skyhawks football coach. He was announced that in February 2020, making him the 14th coach in the program's history. He brings over 20 years of collegiate experience to Durango in Colorado from his success in the D1 and FBS level. So I'm going to bring him on right now. Coach Smith, bear with me one moment and try to get him in here. How you feeling today? Thanks for joining me, Coach Smith. Hope everybody is safe out there. How you doing, sir?
What's up, baby?
All right, man. Thanks for joining me today. I want to talk to you a little bit about the announcement of your new hire at Fort Lewis College. Congratulations, first off. We go way back, and I wanted to say salute to you, and I want to say congratulations, man. But let's start off talking about your career, man. You got 20 years over college experience. You started out at Frostburg State as a player and a graduate assistant. Tell us a little bit how you got started in coaching.
I got started, when I was graduated from Largo, went up to Frostburg with a lot of our classmates and I had the D1 dreams, big time dreams like everybody did. But my 5 years at Frostburg, 4 as a player and 1 as a coach was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. It got me locked in on life and things I wanted to do. And, I took a shot at the next level, obviously probably wasn't good enough. So when that did happen for me, I was blessed. I was just gonna leave school, and come back down to PG County, do whatever. But Mike McGlinchey was my head coach at Frostburg. He knew I wanted to coach, and I'd actually coached 2 years of summer league ball down in PG County at Largo when they first started, the 7-on-7 summer leagues back in the 90s. And he was like, what are you getting ready to do? I'm going home. He said, nah, you're not going home. So he, after I finished playing in '93, I had to report for winter workouts with the team. That January, I labeled it as January 8th, 1994 was the first time I got called a college football coach, and I haven't turned back since.
All right, I don't want to get it twisted. You were a 3-year starter, so you did ball out over there. I know you had your aspirations, but I definitely want everybody to know you balled out too, Coach. So I want to take that time to acknowledge that. So when you got started as a student assistant, what were some of the things in your daily duties that you were responsible for? Because I know a lot of people are interested in getting started. What are some of the things that they need to take a listen to and maybe learn about some of your experiences?
To start off as a college football coach at the early stage, it's a grind, man. You're a peon, you're a runt, you're a grunt. You're trying to figure out, what position the head man wants you to coach, as long as, making copies and cutting up video, grinding. I was blessed because it was an easy transition for me because I wanted to go to the offensive side of the ball, but I ended up staying on the defensive side, coaching the corners, the position I played, and it was just a natural transition for me. And then my first full responsibility was Coach McGlinchey and Coach Stevenson put me in charge of kickoff coverage team. And you don't think that's a big deal, but when you're 24 years old, and your head man say, "Hey, all this is on you," and you're like, "Ooh, wait a minute," it's a little different now. But and also, it was tough from the standpoint I had to coach my peers. I had my roommates and stuff now, so I quickly had to be serious about coaching on the next level on the collegiate level. It forced me to become more of an adult. I couldn't just keep the party and go on and things of that nature. People were looking.
You grew up pretty quickly.
I had to grow up fast, man. Because if you want the respect of your colleagues and to have the respect of your peers, some of them, living in the same house, it got kind of tight, in those situations, man. You're leaving meetings with information that guys shouldn't know, and you're trying to be respectful of everybody's boundaries and stuff. So it was good, but like I said, it forced me to grow up. And what happened for me was myself and 4 other student assistants, graduate assistants, we were all there. we were on the hustle because Coach McGlinchey had told us he was only going to write, 2 letters of recommendation. So, it was like, the best guys were going to get those letters. He was hard school on that. God rest his soul. He passed away so many years ago, but he was hard school on it. So if you wanted, and he had to be a Division III coach, he had a lot of clout. So, you wanted to be one of the ones that got one of those 2 letters. And that was, once I got that letter, I was like, okay, I did everything that most graduate assistants, student assistants do. I, sent my resume out to several different schools. And, I chose to go out to New Mexico Highlands. One of the reasons I went out there was because I knew I wanted to coach right away. And out of the interviews that I had, I don't know if I would have probably stayed in this profession if I would have had to be that grunt another couple of years. Because it was easy, taking direction from my own boss and my own D coordinator. And, they, telling me to go do this, go pick this up, go pick up. But I just couldn't see another guy that I didn't know real well.
Yeah.
Talking to me wrong, telling me I still had too much Central Avenue right now.
I understand. I understand. Speaking on that, I know you grew up on the East Coast. You're an East Coast guy. Pretty much. I see that you've been around the country. Talk about some of your stops throughout. I see you've been in Northeastern, JMU, Idaho. You actually been in New Mexico as well, as you just talked about. Tell us a little bit about some of those stops and just the culture change there and adjusting to that as well, especially for, someone like yourself coming from this area.
For me, it was, I wish that every young man, especially every young brother, could experience what I got to experience of being able to travel across the United States. And football did that for me, allowed me to do that. Like I said, when I took my first gig out at New Mexico Highlands, one of the reasons I took it was kind of to challenge myself, because I didn't want to start a task and have an easy way out. I told people, and my mother was like, well, why do you want to go all the way out there? And I had to be honest with them. I was like, I need to get as close away from I-95 as I can, because if things don't go right, and I got a chance to get on 95 to get back up the Beltway, again, I knew myself back then in those days, it was going to be a wrap. So I got to go out there, and I've been able to experience, that move right there was a huge experience for me. I'm coming from PG County, graduated from Largo, so I was, educated in an all-black high school. I went to a predominantly white institution, and my first job was at an historically Hispanic Native American institution. So, I've been able to assimilate and put myself in so many different cultures just like that in no time. So to be able to be out there, and then I got the experience, at that time, we dating ourselves now, but we going back, from a music standpoint, hip hop around, you see what that was the height of the East Coast, West Coast beat and stuff. So now I'm actually going to
right in the middle of it.
I'm right in the middle. I'm going to California to recruit. I'm in LA. I'm in San Diego, and it was like I got that opportunity blessed me so much to just. I've always had a broad spectrum of who I am as a person, and things I wanted to experience in life, and that really got my feet wet. Of just there's some people who aren't blessed like me and you are, B. They lucky if they get away, if they get off the Beltway. They lucky if they get out of Southville. So for me to be able to go that far away, coach football, that was my job, coach football.
Yes, sir.
And get to experience that, because most people think, it's funny, I was talking to another friend, we think, us as professional blacks, we feel this travel, we got to go, Jamaica's, across the water stuff. There are people who have never seen what the United States has to offer, the area,
exactly.
The lakes, and
they might even leave their own neighborhood. Some people haven't even left their own county.
So, one of the things that football has allowed me to do in coaching, I've been to every state except for Alaska. So and I attest all that to football. So I've been able to be around a lot of culture, and that was huge for me. I spent 5 years out there and loved it.
Okay. Well, I want to move forward a little bit. I know you've been a co-offensive coordinator. This is your first. Excuse me if I'm correct. This is your first head coaching job, correct?
My first head coaching.
All right.
Job.
And actually, like I said, just talking about some of your experience. I know you had a long, brief moment at Villanova, which I'm big fan of in my heart, being a Philly guy. I actually got a chance to interview Jay Wright a couple years ago after the championship, so it was a good experience for me. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the city of Philadelphia and coaching at Villanova and how important that was to you, part of your development.
Man, that was huge. I took the Villanova job coming down I was at Northeastern, which was in Boston. And the funny thing about that gig, I had actually interviewed for that job a couple of years earlier. And me and a buddy went after it together. He ended up getting it, and I went out to Idaho. So it was strange to come back full circle. But I love the Philadelphia area. I love, Radnor Township, the suburb area of Philly, King of Prussia, the whole deal. The best thing about that was for me to be involved with Andy Talley, the head coach, at that time the head coach of Villanova. What he allowed me to do, what he allowed everybody on his staff to do was develop their own style, develop their own craft. He was not a micromanager by any stretch of you got to excel as a coach on your own page, on your own path. As long as things worked, as long as things merged together, my involvement with him was awesome. And we were successful there. We were in the playoffs. I was there 8 seasons. We were in the playoffs 6 of those seasons. Obviously, in 2009, blessed to be on the team that won it. And just to be a part of that town, and then to see like you interviewed Jay Wright. I loved associating with Jay Wright and talking to him. He was a huge football fan. He was always supportive towards us. And not many places where you can go where like this is how together that program was. We were at Nova. That first year they made the run when they lost into the Final Four to North Carolina in Detroit, and we literally stopped spring ball so that a couple of us coaches, and I was one of the ones who blessed, we drove all the way up to Detroit to support the basketball team on that first run. I mean, it's
like a family.
And that was one of the biggest things that I took from my Villanova experience. I always said that when God blessed me to be a head coach, I wanted that true family involvement. I wanted everybody to be surrounded. I wanted everybody to know that we cared about each other. And so that was true. And I still visit Philly here and there when I get a chance. We've got a lot of friends that are from that time period there, and I still keep track of the Villanova program. A couple of high school coaches in that area.
Okay.
So I love coming down there. Love doing that.
All right, I'm gonna ask you 2 questions about Philly before we move on to UMass. Now, actually, I got my first one is about one of the players actually stood out to me. I know. Speaking of the young kid named Matt, he's actually a Philadelphia Phillies now. Tell us a little bit about your experience working with him, and have you actually got a chance to check any of his games out? I know he actually got a chance to win the World Series with the Cubs.
Matt Caesar? Yeah. Oh, man. Matt Caesar. Funniest story about Matt Caesar. One of the best moves I ever made in college football coaching. Matt Caesar was a recruited running back at Nova who he could play in any position he wanted to. But it was kind of my suggestion, hey, he needs to be playing receiver. He needs to be playing slot. And that kid was all everything. And he's from Cape May, New Jersey kid, and he was all everything. He was my punt returner when I was there. So I love it when he graduated. I followed his career. After he first got drafted, he went out to Peoria. He was in the Cubs single A. I literally drove all the way out to Peoria, Illinois. Picked up my nephew who lived in Dover, Delaware, and we went all the way out to Peoria, Illinois.
Shout out to Dover.
Yeah, we went all the way out to Peoria, Illinois, to watch Matt Caesar play in a minor league baseball game. That's how much of a fan I am of that kid. I still am. I follow him on social media and everything. We stay in contact via that way. He reaches out here and there. He congratulated me when I got the job at Fort Lewis. And then when I saw that, to see a kid from Cape May being able to have his career, and he's done the hard line going in and out with Major League Baseball, and now he's to be at his home team, to be wearing the Philly stripes as awesome. So I was blessed to have that young man in my life and to have him be a part of my life. That was awesome.
Yes, we're going to keep rooting for Matt. I'm a big Phillies guy, so I'm definitely going to check an eye on him. Hopefully the season gets started soon with everything and the COVID-19 right now. I want to touch a little bit about that. Like I said, everyone's staying safe. And so I know this brings a difficulty during this recruiting time, so I want to talk to you a little bit about that as well. But the last thing I wanted to ask you, on the lighter side, what's your top 3 cheesesteak spots in Philly, man? Come on, give the people what you want. Your top 3 Philly area. Man. I know it's on the outskirts, but give me your top 3 Philly area cheesesteak spots.
Well, I tried them all. I did Tony Luce, I did Max, I did Gino's, and they all good. So no disrespect. For me, in my 8 years on the main line and being in Philly, for me the best cheesesteak was that spot over in Radnor called the Conestoga Grill.
Conestoga Grill, huh?
The Conestoga Grill over in Radnor, PA, not the office on those campus. That was, I don't know what that man did on his grill, but to me, it was best. And I know they did fresh baked bread, but it was the best. Like, I even had people, some of my Largo classmates, some people that would come up when they would holler at me when I lived in there. We did them all, but when the second time they was like, "Yo, let's go to that spot over there by the laundry bag." Oh yeah, that was the best for me. No disrespect to any of them.
I got you.
Like Johnny's, Tony Luke, hey, but for me, my 8 years, the best cheesesteak was at the Conestoga.
Well, who you gonna put in your 2 and your number 3 spot? If you had to put a 2 and 3 spot, in case your spot wasn't open one day, you want to recommend somebody in the ones that you did get a chance to go venture off into the city.
You got to go Johnny's. You got to go Johnny's. And then I think, even though it's a tourist aspect of it, I think you have to have the experience of going to Passagenos, trying to get your order out without getting cussed out and told to get to the back of the line.
I already know.
You got to have that experience one time.
I got you. Well, I'm a Max's guy. I'm a little biased, the Germantown Ave area, but I definitely respect it. And I'm going to take a look at your spot, man. Next time I got a couple of cousins up there, we're going to go check it out, man.
It's
yes, indeed.
It's in a spot. Every time the places around it has always changed. That's been there forever and a day. And it's between a dry cleaners and a laundromat, and it's one little tuck there. And
well, I checked your page out, Coach. I know you like to eat well, so I'm gonna take your recommendation on that one. The UMass was your next stop right there. Under your tutelage, you had another running back I was going to ask you about, which was a 3-time Doak Walker Award candidate. He actually got a chance to have some professional experience. How was your experience working with Marquise Young and the UMass program?
Sometimes you have to be honest with yourself. It was meant for me and Marquise to be together. That was something that happened because our relationship with Foster, it was needed. He was recruited. He literally got to campus probably a month before I took the job, and he was a young man from Rochester, New York, and I don't want had a tough upbringing, but at the same point in time, there was something in him as a young man, as a student athlete. His heart was so big, and he wanted to do so well. And for me and him to be together 4 years, it was almost, as we go through it now, it was almost like we were supposed to be together. He needed somebody to kind of get him through a couple of rough spots, and just being a young man through college. And I needed that somebody to kind of help through that situation. And when you go into the coaching profession, it's all about educating and helping the younger generation. And sometimes there's always going to be that one young man that needs a little bit more of your attention than some of the others. And Marquise was that guy for me, and he had He had a great career at UMass, and I don't want to speak his stats wrong. I think he finished as one of the top 5 running backs in UMass history. He did not get drafted, but he got a couple of free agent shots in the league, and he finished up where he was playing with the Dallas Desperados,
Dallas Renegades, yeah,
Dallas Renegades,
yeah.
in the XFL before that league folded. So but he was good. Now he was good. We played several. We had a rough schedule when I was at UMass, and we played several SEC teams, major times, and there were 2 people that always stood out in every game that we played on that level. One was Marquise Young, and the other was Andy Isabella, who was a 2nd-round draft pick, for the Cardinals. And so, so we were. He was good. And I enjoyed coaching, and you get a little bit of the notoriety from a young man like that when he succeeds. Dope Walker finalists and things of that nature. But a lot of it, the kid has the ability. You just want to make sure that he's on the right path and doing the right things. And he did that, and I wish, Marquise was following. I wish him well. Like, he's another young man. The best thing for me, us being old heads now, the good thing about social media, kids like that, you can follow them. They stay with you. They talk to you. It's not necessarily always a phone call. They can get on IG. They can get on Twitter, whatever they want to do, and you can kind of keep track of how things are going. And that's the beautiful part about everything.
That's great. I actually going to keep an eye on Marquise. Like you said, he actually had a great career under yourself and the program there. I was looking, he ran off over 3,000 yards, 29 touchdowns at UMass. I know you were speaking on that. So that's why you're an excellent coach. The experience that you have, man, and just being able to, like you said, people from different backgrounds, being able to have those relationships and being able to get them to the highest level that they can succeed at. That's part of coaching. So I want to salute both of you. We're going to keep an eye on Marquise to see if what his next destination may be. Unfortunately, the XFL have folded because of the COVID-19. Let's talk a little bit about your next destination, man. Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, the Skyhawks. It's a big step for you, man. Fort Lewis College in Durango, Colorado. Let's talk a little bit about it. You were only there a couple of weeks. It was a short time, unfortunately, because of the pandemic. Tell us a little bit about your current roster and a little bit of the things that excite you about this program.
What excites me about the program is, this is going to be my 2nd stint being in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. And, starting off there, like I said, my first job was at New Mexico Highlands, which is also in the conference. For me, this job was kind of a dream come true from the standpoint of, obviously, you always want to be a head coach. And, I had a couple of phone interviews here and there, but, nothing panned out. But the area itself of Durango, not the 4 corners of what they call the 4 corners area, which is southwestern Colorado, New Mexico, Nevada, and Utah, is probably one of the most beautiful places in the world. And, if most people think of Colorado, they think what they call in Colorado the Front Range, Denver down to Colorado Springs. But you go across the Rockies, on the other side of the Rockies, on the side of the Platte Mountains, and it's like, man, it's different. So, and I've been there a couple of times to vacation. There's been some other friends who had actually worked at the university, never thinking that I would work there. But when I got the call from the AD and we hit it off, and then they flew me out for the interview, it was, again, I'm big on, on the man above. And there was something that it just felt right. The timing of it in my career felt right. The institution I knew, not too many people knew about the school. Not too many people knew about the area. So me coming in, most time when you go on a job interview, you try to do a quick research on the area, what's happening here, what's going on there. It was like, I know this part. I know what
yes, sir.
I know where these houses are. I know what this institution is, and I actually, kind of fell in love with the place a long time before when I was a grad assistant at Highlands, because we obviously played there a couple of years. But going back, I'm getting a little wordy here, but going back, one of my jobs when I was a grad assistant, I was a bus driver. So I used to have to drive the women's teams up to Fort Lewis all the time, and so with them being women's softball and women's basketball, so those games are always at night. So I had the days to kind of just walk around town and see what was up. And I fell in love with the place. So take it forward 20 years to get that call to come there and be the head coach and get the job. It was a dream come true. To finally have someone decided, you're going to be their leader and lead their young men and take the path the way where you want to have. And you have a chance to run the program the way you want to run the program, get things done the right way, or as you see it being the right way. So that was good. Now, the program itself, I'll state what I said, in my press conference and in my interview. It's a down program right now, but I'm trying to get it back. I wanted to have as much exposure and national attention as any Division II football program can have. I told the AD and the president, one of the things I want to take this job. If you're going to hire me, we're not going to sit back here and just be the little school on the other side of the Rocky Mountains. I want to try to do things as big as we possibly can, put as much notice and recognition behind our name as we can. It has not been a very successful program in the last couple of years. And, the last one of the season was 2015. That was under another Smith, Coach John L. Smith, who was, well known in our profession, being a head coach of Louisville and Arkansas and things of that nature. So it was one of those deals where, Darrius G. Smith gonna try to get in there and try to,
yes, sir,
try to do his thing on it, put my name on it, and get us to that level, get us to that status. It was a whirlwind for me. I actually interviewed the first week of February, which was signing period for all the college football. That Thursday, most of that signing period started on Wednesday. I interviewed that Thursday. I got notification I was going to get the job probably that Tuesday. They held up on everything. That following Friday, they made it official. They hired me. I was on a plane the next Friday out there, and it was like, boom, I hit the ground running. I had 2 weeks of winter condition with my guys. We got started with literally only 2 practices of spring ball before the pandemic hit. And to be honest, I was blessed to get those 2 practices. I know other teams around the country that didn't get a chance to get out on the field before the pandemic hit. So it was one of those deals where I got to see some guys run around. I got to see some guys got to see some needs that we had to handle immediately in recruiting right off the bat. So it's gonna be a tough job, but I'm excited about it. And I like the challenge. I told people in my interview, if it was an 11-0 job, I don't think they'd be calling me. Ain't too many 11-0 jobs.
I understand. And that's what they brought you in for, man. I actually saw your press conference as well. I know you're big on family based upon everything we talked about today. You're a man that's paid his dues, and you know about hard work and dedication. So I think that you're definitely going to succeed there. I definitely want to bring you back on. I was looking at the when you guys do bring your when you do win your first championship. It's not, if, when. So I looked at the program there, man. They actually have had championships in soccer and I think the women's basketball team. So they know a little bit about winning. And when you're there to raise that trophy and that banner, man, we want to bring you back on as well. So I definitely have all the confidence in the world in you, and they should as well. That's why they brought you in. So I want to talk a little bit about, I know that you're in Rhode Island right now. How difficulty, and let's talk about some of the recruiting, and do you have some new recruits that you want to announce or anybody that you want to talk about right now and on your program a little bit?
Recruiting is going well. We just got another signing in last night. I don't think I can officially say my name, but what I had to do, I had to go back to my California roots from back in the day recruiting. So I got 4 guys coming in from El Camino Junior College to the sign, lock, and seal coming through the door, which is going to help boost. 2 of them are defensive players. One's an offensive lineman we got coming in. So that's this initial. I'm still in the hunt for a couple of guys here and there, but the recruiting is going well. Well received. COVID has slowed some things up. We had a period where the NCAA had basically put all college football on the dead period. You couldn't get any paperwork out. We couldn't get off campus to do any off-campus recruiting. Couldn't bring any kids in. But now that they've lifted that dead period, I got some paperwork out, and I'm excited about. Got a couple of young men that got to make some decisions, but I'm excited about the direction they think they're going to go, and I think they're going to be kids that help us along in the program. And
do they have a final date they need to make a decision by in the recruiting process? Is it the final date, or they gave an extension based upon what's going on?
Everything an extension based upon what's going on right now. Everything right now is really word of mouth. Our compliance people and our AD are trying to keep us up to date on the steps of what we're taking. right now. I don't think it's going to be lifted as far as us going off campus at this point in time, because we're getting ready to run into that season of period of May. Everything was extended to 30th of May. Usually May was always spring recruiting for a lot of college coaches to get out on the road, and then you went into camp season, which was June. With everything going on right now, I don't know what direction that's going to take. We're living in a different time, different world, and myself, I'm doing the old United States Marine deal. I'm improvising, adapting, and overcoming. Because you don't know what direction things don't spin.
Stay strong, man. Actually, like I said, I know you guys' season was expected to start September the 5th. Hopefully, with prayers and some type of guidance, we'll get to some type of direction that it actually can start. And I think you have a homecoming October 10th, so we're going to check back to make sure, see how things go in a few weeks. I know you're probably not sure your biggest rivalry is in the conference just yet because you're still getting there, but I know that I'll be one of the first guys to celebrate when you guys beat Colorado School of Mines.
Oh,
so I see that you guys have a 0-13 record versus them guys in the history. So I'm looking forward to checking out your schedule when it does get started. One thing I do want to talk to you about before we go a little bit is about your experience. I noticed that you had an internship with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah, back in
So talk a little bit about that, working with Coach Tomlin and just the NFL experience, because one day we might see you on Sundays, man. I look forward to that. You never know what the future may hold, man.
You never know. But my experience wasn't with Tomlin. I was with Coach Cowell. I was with Bill Cowell.
Okay, Coach Cowell. Sorry about that.
That's all good. And that was with that was the year that he got his. I was there the summer before he got his first Super Bowl victory, and I worked with him. I was blessed. I interned 2.5 weeks with him. I was with Mark Whipple, who I worked with, my head coach at UMass. And I helped coach work with the receivers, and the receiver coach at the time was Bruce Arians, who was the head coach at Tampa now, who was with Clark.
So I'm a big Bruce Arians fan.
Yeah, so that was unbelievable for me. At the time, I spent a lot of time working with at that time Antoine Randall L.
Okay.
The week and a half I was there was the week and a half that Hines Ward was on contract negotiation. So he wasn't in there.
Okay.
And, spent time with Jerome Bettis and those guys. And it was just a great experience for me. It was, again, some people don't have the opportunity to do those type deals. The NFL does a great job with the Bill Walsh Minority Internship of trying to increase my minority involvement with the league. And I was in, at the not necessarily the early stage because it had been going on a while, but at that time for me to be involved, and I'm blessed to still be able to keep in contact with all those coaches. Like I said, just work